Hi, and welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. It's December 9th, 2016. Welcome to the Texas Fly Fishing Report. It's a occasional report that comes out when things are interesting or changing in Texas when it comes to fly fishing. And certainly things have changed in the last 2 days. We've got weather now that's got us in the 20s, forced me inside off the fly bar where I normally do these reports. And with few exceptions, the lake situation in Texas is pretty much shut down for fly fishing. It's so cold. There are exceptions. Two places I think of right off the top of my head are Monticello if you want to call it, and that is a generation lake, and they're showing a pretty warm temperature right now. I say generation lake. It's not a generation lake, but it's a cooling lake that cools a generator. And so 80-85 degrees is what they're showing. That might be a place to think about. It's hard to believe. I've heard that they quit cooling water there and quit running that coal plant, but maybe they're back online with the new administration. Maybe the administration put some pressure on to come back online. Who knows? Who knows? But that's one place, and the second place is Dangerfield, and that's a place where you can fish in the cold months. The water is cold, it is cold there, but you can fish there in East Texas for chain pickerel, which are really a good target in the winter months. As you go across the state and the lakes in Texas, you'll realize that the water temperatures are dropping in North Texas down into the upper 50s now. But if you get all the way down to a lake like Falcon, the water is still 70 to 75 degrees. So that gives you an idea of the size of Texas and the variables. You know, a lot of fly fishing in Texas turns to places below dams where you can target striper, which to me seem a little more active in the colder months. That's a good place to go. And also the fact that fewer people are there when it gets cold. So think about that. You know, one place that comes to mind obviously is Possum Kingdom and the dam below there where the Brazos flows out, and the other one is Denison Dam where much larger stripers roam, and it's a really it's a slightly dangerous place for the slippery rocks, so you definitely have to be prepared, and I always carry a waiting staff when I go there. So think about the safety issues when you do the lakes. I mean, when you do the places, the dams below the lakes. And you know, the next thing we think about here in North Texas is running for the border, and that means going to Oklahoma. And the stockings are well underway in Oklahoma for people. The difference between stocking trout in Oklahoma and stocking trout in Texas is pretty significant. I'm sure Texas's budget is much bigger, but those fish in Texas are intended for kids, not for us, the old folks and men. That's to take kids out. It's kind of an interesting program because it doesn't make a lot of sense that they stock a fish that's going to die. You know, a lot of fly fishers wish they would switch this over, and instead of doing that, stock bluegill and sunfish that are actually going to live and be able to be caught in the summer and year round. So that's just my soapbox for the day. But those trout are stocked throughout small town lakes and ponds, if you want to call them, throughout Texas, and a great opportunity for you guys to take your kids out. And it's really a power bait situation. These fish swim around in a circle in the middle of these ponds, and they're hard to get to with a fly rod if the pond's any size at all. It's just it's a little bit embarrassing sometimes to see the size of these fish and the fact that so much hullabaloo is raised over such a young person's sport, so to speak. That's what they're really for. But anyway, the big thing right now in Texas is the Gulf Coast, and I read the reports, and what I'm seeing is that from one end to the other, speckled trout are really good. You know, for those guys that use bait, there's full reds in the channels of the jetty channels all across the state. You've got birds working in the bays. What we have now is a thing where the temperatures will fluctuate. You'll get the typical, looks like this year we're going to have a typical winter pattern where we have these cold fronts with a bite on pre-cold front, and then bluebird days after, because the weather blows through really fast on the Texas Gulf Coast. And so when that blows through, about 2 days afterwards, it blows all the clouds off, and then suddenly you have these bluebird days where the bite is on again. So it's really a fun time to be on the coast, and it appears to me that the opportunities on the Texas Gulf Coast have never been better. We're almost, it seems like from what I read, in a year-round just green light situation on the Texas Gulf Coast. About the only thing that comes along when it gets this good that ruins things is maybe next summer we'll get a hurricane and they'll just mess things up, or the spring floods which create an influx of fresh water that really kind of wreak a little havoc and might cause some tide events, red tide events. But anyway, that's what's going on. Like I said, this is a report for December 9th, 2016. It's been a really good year. I don't know that we'll have another report before 2017. These are pretty hard to put together, take time to put on. Obviously, I don't rehearse, obviously. And so if I don't have time to do another one before 2017 rolls around, that will be the 10th anniversary of the website Texas Flycaster, which is how this all got started. That's www.texasflycaster.com, and that's where you'll go with look for more information in writing on fly fishing in Texas in a lot more detail and micro level look at different fly fishing spots. But we're heading into the 10th year. If I don't see you before 2017, have a great Christmas, happy holidays, and a happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you next time right here on Texas Fly Fishing Report, a service of Texas Flycaster, celebrating 10 years in 2017.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Texas Fly Fishing Report. Thanks also goes out to the sponsors. If you need more information, be sure to visit www.texasflycaster.com. And if you have any information about fly fishing in Texas, feel free to share it, and we'll be glad to get it on the report.